Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We are here breaking down everything going on in the NFL and a little WNBA news for all the WNBA fans out there. And you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Tanner. Commanders, Patriots. It's the Ride the Line Bowl tonight. First preseason game for both of us. Joint practice on Wednesday. Mike Vrabel's face started bleeding. I'm just excited. Weekend's here. It's been a long week of work. I'm excited to finally enjoy the football.
Drake May just dominated your defense all week long.
All week long, it was one practice session. All the reports I've seen have said, like, both quarterbacks were really good. Patriots defense probably a little further ahead than the Commanders. But I've also seen pretty much unanimously from Patriot supporters that Jayden Daniels still the best quarterback on the field. So keep trying, but you're not there yet.
All week long, Drake May outplays Jayden Daniels. That was what I was seeing.
He threw an interception on the final drive. Typical, can't come up with the big plays. We've been here before.
I will never understand, and I get it for fan engagement. We talked about it on the last show, but I will still never understand why these practices are open to the public, because let's take Caleb Williams for an example. Caleb Williams is making some really nice throws. The Bears social team is only putting out the nice throws. The public is putting out the bad throws. So he had that drill where he was throwing to the net. He didn't hit one. He got a little flustered at the end. He got a little zesty at the end. And he was asked about it by a reporter the other day, and he was like, yeah, we're not trying to get the laces on the ball like it's a wet ball, whatever it was. It was meant to be quick and not accurate, just trying to get it in. Now, obviously, he's an NFL quarterback, should probably get one in the hole, but those are the clips that get out because these practices are open. And I think that was probably a reporter, but still, I just don't understand why we get open practices. Fan engagement, selling jerseys is great, but I think it hurts the team a little bit because we get all these narratives and we just don't know who to believe.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But what I was thinking about after we recorded, I also just was thinking to myself, like, okay, so the fans can come there and the fans can record on their phone, but the teams don't live stream it. Like, the teams act as if it's this closed off thing, news camera, media is not allowed to record, none of that. But the fans are just sitting there recording on their phones the whole time. And nowadays, with where we're at with technology, every fan is a reporter. You just take a video and you post it on Twitter and it goes viral. It's like, what's the point, really? Let's live stream them. Let's make it a real event, or no cameras at all, no outside fans. One or the other, because right now it just makes no sense how they have it.
Yeah, another thing too, you were talking about Drake May throwing that interception. I'm not saying it's good to throw interceptions by any means, but in practice they do these situations. Like we just get this final stat line, right? But we could get third and like these situationals they're going to put you in, like they could be 3rd and 15 backed up. Like that's what they're working on for that period, 3rd and 15. So it could also be, hey, 4th and 10, game on the line. We need a touchdown. So that Drake May interception, I'm not saying it was in that case, but these situations, if we get 4th and 10, game on the line, you need a touchdown. You got to throw it up. Like reporters counting those, like nobody knows what's really going on in practice. So I just think we get a lot of narratives on Twitter. It's different. You heard that Jayden was the best quarterback on the field. I heard Drake May was by far the best quarterback on the field. So there's
you did not hear that. The Patriots reporters still said that Jayden was the best quarterback.
I had my sources. I heard Drake May was the best quarterback on the field, but there's just a lot of conflicting reports we get out of training camp, which is good. And we're obviously going to see what happens on the field this week. So yeah.
I mean, joint practices are great for the players. I'm not a practice stats guy at all. Like, it's
do you think they like it
from it more? Huh?
Do you think they like joint practice?
The players or the coaches?
Players. I think the coaches probably like it. I don't know. I think the players would like it because it's less reps and you're going against somebody else. So like you don't have to go against the same guy every day. You get to form that team. You get to go like one-on-one pass rush. You get to do it against a different defensive line or offensive line, depending on what side of the ball you're on. But I also think that you can either have a really good joint practice or you can have a really bad one if the teams are going at it.
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody. I think the players are probably tired of going against the same guy for 3-4 months, and everybody knows each other's tendencies at that time. Like if you had a brother or a best friend, somebody you grew up playing basketball with every day, like you'll know by the 3rd, 4th year of you guys being friends, like exactly what the other person's going to do. Well, these guys have been doing it for hours on end every single day for the last 4 months. So I'm sure they enjoy the challenge of going against a different team. Also, when you're playing your teammates, there's friendly competition, but that means you're not quite at that 100% sort of level of intensity. When you go against a different team, there's no reason for you to hold back on that aside from not hitting the quarterback. So I think it's good for everyone.
And I'm sure there's going to be a few more joint practices today, knowing most of the games are happening on Saturday. But for the most part, the only fights that I've seen on Twitter, we had the Commanders Patriots fight where my coach absolutely destroyed half your players. And then we also had Cody Mount going at it with Jeffrey Simons. I think that was the fight too. But other than that, there really hasn't been a lot of fights so far for the joint practices.
I mean, let's be honest. Fights are going to happen too. It's almost a non-story at this point. Like fights happen within teams' own practices with their own players and teammates. You just don't hear about it.
Well, the Vrabel one was a story because he was bloodied coming out of the pile after he
that was his own volition though. Like there was a skirmish and he jumped in, like he dove into it.
He wanted to do that though.
I mean, he's a football guy. Like, let's not forget who Mike Vrabel is. Like,
the Patriots are going to be really good this year. Patriots, I after seeing that, hearing about how dominant Drake May was this week, Patriots are going to be very good. But anyways, Grant, we don't need to talk about your Commanders sucking for so long. So Ride the Line, greatest podcast, sports betting entertainment. Make sure you guys like this video. Like the video, comment on the video. We're talking about a lot today. If you like the W, stick around. We're opening with that. So make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. And Grant, tell them why they need to check out WSN.com.
Well, the preseason is here. Not to toot my own horn, but 2 for 3 on the picks that I put out for the preseason games yesterday. So that's a nice winning start to the season. You win 67% of your bets, you're going to be doing pretty well. So you're going to get picks from myself, Tanner, the team of experts over at WSN.com. We got those picks for the NFL preseason, the regular season once it starts, NBA, NHL, MLB, everything you're looking for, it's going to be there. Plus bonus codes for the sports books. So profit boosts, bonus bets, everything that you're looking for, it is there at WSN.com.
After seeing how the games ended up last night, like if I'm betting the preseason, I'm taking an underdog. There's no point in laying 6.5 points, I think, in a preseason game. 4.5, 5.5.
Let me start the show off by saying that normally you save the stuff for the end, but my favorite pick of the preseason, I do want to put this out there, and I'll feel bad if it goes wrong, but my favorite pick, and it's kind of to what you're saying there, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 3.5, plus 150 on the money line. I mean, the plus 3.5 is really the safer pick here because you're catching the full field goal. You can still win if the Bucs lose by a field goal. But like, why are they going to lose? I know you were telling me that there's inclement weather, a little rainy down there, but the Titans have a horrible team. Their starters are playing. Okay, cool. Well, they went 3-14 last year, so what does that even really matter? Cam Ward's going to get one series, and then he's going to be out of there. And the Bucs, like you look at their depth. We were talking about this off air. Their starters are amazing. And then you go to the bench, you've got guys who will play in this game. I would assume Emeka Egbuka, for example, going to play in this game, even though he's a projected starter because he's a rookie. You got guys like Sean Tucker, Tez Johnson, Payne Durham. And then on the defensive side, Benjamin Morrison, I'm a huge fan. Like their team is just so deep and they've got so many playmakers that I already hammered that line. Bucs plus 3.5.
It's the Cam Ward effect too. That's the only reason I think they're a favorite. And Cam Ward's going to play a series like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow was fantastic last night, and they were a 6.5 point favorite. Now, great, they gave him a 14-7 lead coming out of the first quarter, but then the rest of the team's got to be able to keep that lead, and they weren't able to do that. The Eagles ended up winning outright. So if you would have parlayed the first two underdogs of the night, you had a nice night, and then added Seattle plus 4.5 in late because that was a tie. That's another reason to take the points with the underdogs too, because I know these guys want to win. The coaches want to go out and win. The players do too. Like if you get into a 2-minute drill situation, they're going to go for the win. If you get a chance to go for 2 at the end of the game instead of kicking a field goal to tie it, they're going to do that 100%. But still, ties are going to happen. You got the third stringers in late in the game. They're not going to be able to move the ball great all the time. So taking those points with the underdog, you cash with the tie. So it just makes sense.
Let's talk about that Bengals game because I think it was very indicative of what's to come for the Bengals. And look, I'm a fan of Al Golden. I was also a fan of Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator they fired. This is not me crapping on Al Golden, but like the Bengals just don't have the defense in place. I mean, they were getting cooked by the Eagles' third stringers and Tanner McKee, who actually turns out might be one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. But like, yeah, the Bengals had a 14-7 lead at the end of the first quarter. So if you extrapolate that out, you're like, okay, well, when the first stringers were in, we won the game. Well, the Eagles only got one possession in the first quarter. They scored a touchdown. They were moving the ball. They kicked a field goal early in the second quarter, but that drive started at the end of the first, and they were moving the ball well against the Bengals starters. And again, this was Tanner McKee leading the third string offense. So the Bengals went 9-8 last year, didn't do anything to upgrade their defense. All they did was pay T. Higgins, and I still think they're going to have an amazing offense, but I can't trust this team because I don't think they can stop anybody.
I don't think you can take that from last night. Like it was the backups. I know they gave up points in the first, but for the majority of the game, it was the backup. So I don't think we can necessarily take everything in that situation. But I do agree. I think we're going to see a very similar team to last year. The offense is going to be fantastic. The defense is going to struggle. And they don't have Trey Hendrickson. I wonder when he's going to come back into the fold, if he is going to. Like he's there. He's waiting on the contract. But the longer these guys wait, the less likely they're going to be ready for week one. And I know you can get him in just to rush the passer, but still, they need him back. I just don't think, though, in the end of the day, like having him or Shamar Stewart really doesn't change much for this team. I still think they're going to be a bad defense. I don't think they're going to be as bad as last year. I do think they're going to be slightly better. And if they are slightly better, they probably sneak into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, slightly better. They went 9-8, so slightly better is 10-7. That 10 wins is normally what gets you there. But at the same time, Jamar Chase did win the Triple Crown, and Joe Burrow did have almost 5,000 passing yards, lead the league in touchdowns. Yeah, you're holding yourself to such a high standard on offense, and the margin for error is so thin, and it's just not. This is not how you go about winning games for the long term.
You can take some things in the preseason, obviously, but I don't think you can take the fact that they're a bad defense. Like they don't blitz. You play just shell. You just sit there. You play base defense. So I think they're going to be better. They need to be better. If they're not, they need to make serious organizational changes, and that starts with Zach Taylor too. It doesn't matter how many points they put up if they can't stop anybody. So like it was not a great showing for them in the second quarter, but honestly, in the second half, they gave up 10 points. So, it is what it is.
I believe every game hit the over because the lowest scoring game was a total of 40 points. And that was probably like 35, 36 and beforehand.
Yeah, that definitely went over. I think they all gone over.
Yeah, they all went over. And like you were saying with your whole underdogs point, like let's be honest, the odds makers don't have really any clue how to set preseason lines. Not that I could do any better because I don't know, but every line basically is 3.5 points unless a team has come out and said we're playing our starters and the other team has said we are not playing our starters. That's when you see like a 6-point line with the Bengals Eagles last night. But then again, the Eagles still won that game.
Yeah, I think week 2 of the preseason is when I would consider maybe laying some points there. But right now, week 1, I would never lay a single point here because the starters only playing a little bit. You can't trust the backups. Most of the guys playing the majority of these games are going to be cut. So it's just really hard to get in the mindset of laying those points. Grant, what'd you see from Ashton Jeanty? Wasn't like playing a Mountain West team on the CW at noon. It's crazy. He played his games on the CW, and everybody's expecting him to be that guy. He did not look good last night.
No, don't do that. I know it's fun. It's fun to feed into the internet narrative. I know it's fun to feed into the memes. I saw a picture of Eddie Lacy, and it was like Ashton Jeanty when he's not playing UNLV at 10 p.m. I get it. It's funny, but the first run where he just got annihilated at the Raiders offensive line got annihilated at the point of attack. Like he got hit 5 yards into the backfield. He had nowhere to go. And he only got 2 carries after that point. So he got like 4 or 5 yards on those. Like, don't read into this. This dude is still going to be awesome.
There's a lot of people that like are high on the Raiders train. Like I've heard so many people say, well, if they weren't in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs, they would be a legitimate playoff contender. And now there's still people who think they're a playoff contender in the same division as the Kansas City Chiefs, and a really hard division too with the Chargers there as well. So I just don't think this team's going to be very good. I think that week 1 game against New England is kind of going to decide the trajectory of each team's season. But I don't expect a lot from the Las Vegas Raiders this year. I think they're going to suck.
I mean, they have a very tough schedule. I think they'll win. I've been saying 7 games. If I had to pick 6 or 8, I would go 6. But yeah, I think 6 or 7 wins is about where I put them this year. I think they'll be competitive, but I don't think they're going to be sneaking into the playoffs.
Do they beat the Patriots in week 1, you think?
I don't. That's really such a 50-50 for me. And not to give the cop-out answer here, but I view both teams as being in extremely similar positions, and both teams have changed an awful lot. If you ask me which team do I like more, I probably like the Patriots a small bit more, but you're asking me to judge teams that I haven't seen. Like, it's totally different teams with new offensive lines in one case, a new quarterback in the other, new running backs, new coaches. It's just tough to judge.
I can't wait for week 1. I don't know. Are you the kind of guy that gets excited about the preseason? Like, I'm excited to watch Shedeur Sanders, who we're going to talk about here in a minute. But other than that, I don't get really excited about these games. Like last night, I watched a little bit, but I was playing Madden a lot last night. That game sucks too, by the way. But I don't get excited. What about you?
I'm excited when football is back, when the preseason is back, because it tells me week 1 is close. And I'll be excited to watch big players. I'll be excited to watch the first quarter, stuff like that. I've been really diving into the Commanders more than I have in years past. So like, I'm excited to see who makes roster spot 53, but that's also just for my team. That's not for the entire league. So I would say for the most part, it's just kind of it's like when the appetizer comes out at a restaurant. It's like, okay, this is good. It's nice, but really I just want to get to dinner now.
Yeah, I agree with that. So last night, what else? We had Colts and Ravens too. Anthony Richardson did not throw hot off a blitzing. It was a linebacker, defensive end. He got absolutely murdered. He broke his pinky. Daniel Jones should be the starting quarterback of this football team. But if you're in a situation too where the battle for QB1 is Daniel Jones versus Anthony Richardson, you might as well just move on to the Pacers, because it's going to be a very long season for you.
Well, it's going to be a long season for the Pacers too, because of good old Tyrese there. Rest in peace. Yeah, Anthony Richardson, I don't know what you do at this point. And I saw a lot of people saying online, what's the point of playing your starting quarterback if you're not playing your starting offensive line? This injury is on the coaches, the front office for the Colts. They have to know better, all this stuff. Like, no. The offensive line.
No, that is true. That is true. But I'm going to agree with that, though.
Okay.
In general, you should not be playing your starting quarterback without your starting offensive line, number one.
I agree in principle. People using that to justify this injury and say that Anthony Richardson's not at fault here and his team set him up, that is wrong. If you watch the play, it is blocked correctly. The Ravens had 6 blitzers. The Colts had 5 blockers. The guy who was in conflict, the right tackle who was in conflict, chose that you always choose the player who is closer to the quarterback, who's in a more direct line to the quarterback. He did that. Anthony Richardson's got to sense the pressure and throw hot, throw it into the flat. He had I think it was Tyler Warren on the right side, and then a running back coming out of the backfield, just going into the short flat. He had options. It wasn't even his blind side, yet he was staring left, knowing that he was hot off the right side. And he got killed, and that is his fault. And in some ways, I guess you can point to his lack of reps, because he barely played quarterback in high school, barely got any reps of college. He got injured 4 games into his rookie season, didn't get to start the entire second year. Like, yeah, I get it. He's inexperienced. He's not getting reps. But if he keeps getting himself killed, he's never going to get the reps, because he's never going to be on the field. And he also hasn't shown you enough to give him the reps. I mean, his completion percentage last year was like 49%. You can't let that guy go out and play quarterback for you.
I just don't even know how he was a first-round draft pick. And not saying he's not talented, but he barely played in college. Like, there was no experience at the University of Florida. Like, just because he could throw the ball a million yards and he could jump and run, they were like, let's draft this kid. But I don't know what the Colts, and teams draft off athleticism and potential, but that's so risky to do with a starting quarterback. Like, in what world was he worthy of being the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft? I just don't see it based on what he did as a Gator.
I saw a tweet that made me laugh. And you know the Jalen Hurts, Cam Newton debates that have been going on? Someone posted the video of Anthony Richardson's injury, and then someone replied with the video of him getting drafted 4th overall. And the caption was, "This alone should get Cam Newton into the Hall of Fame." Just drafting a guy with athletic potential who it's like, yeah, it looks like, if we get him to that point, then he could be a guy. And then you put him out there and he's nothing. Not nothing. Don't want to be disrespectful, but he's disappointing.
No, he's
that
not.
Draft class, number 1, Bryce Young, number 2, CJ Stroud, number 3, Will Anderson Jr., number 4, Anthony Richardson. You got Bijan go at 8, Jalen Carter go at 9, Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, Christian Gonzalez at 17.
Good class. That's a good class.
It is a good class, but you're looking at it, and it's like, how did he go fourth? Now, it's revisionist history, and I get it. You can do this with every draft class, but it just unfortunately happened to the Colts in this time around.
Well, you just got to know. I mean, if a guy hasn't played, that's the tough part. Like, you need to see it on tape a little bit too. I mean, he's fine. He made $24 million, but like he's kind of not stole that money. But if they get nothing out of him, he was a mega bust. And you know what, too, going back to Cam Newton, I don't know when the tables turn for Cam Newton. I wish he could have been so much better than he was. Like, he could have that career longevity should have been there so much longer. It's so sad because Cam Newton was legit.
Well, he got his body killed. That was the problem. Like, he burned. We were talking about with Des Bryant the other day. The flame burned so hot that it burned out very quickly.
Yeah. And then also not Baker. I keep seeing these Johnny Manziel clips, and I just wish that it's like the two guys I see on TikTok the most for like the clips of what could have been Johnny Manziel and Conor McGregor. Not saying Conor McGregor. I mean, he's a UFC Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, but there was so much more there that we could have untapped. Same thing. And that maybe not because he had the injuries too, but like he probably could have had one more run, I think, if there was just the drugs didn't take over and all that. And Johnny Manziel, same thing. Like, I think Johnny Manziel could have been a great NFL quarterback, but we just didn't have the mental capacity.
Yeah. I mean, Skip Bayless was on TV saying Johnny Manziel will be a bigger name in Cleveland than LeBron James.
You know what? If Johnny Manziel had a really good run and led them to a Super Bowl, I would agree with that 100%. I think
that's a pretty big if there.
but that was what he expected of him. Like, don't you think if Johnny Manziel took the Browns to the Super Bowl and won, he'd have a bigger name in Cleveland than LeBron, especially like with LeBron leaving Cleveland and all that? I would say so. Yes, 100%. People care way more about football than Cavaliers basketball.
Yeah, but LeBron's homegrown. That's the difference.
But they still care more about. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, well, if LeBron goes back to Akron, Ohio, and it's like passing out food to the kids, yeah, of course he got a bigger name. Johnny's not doing that, but like Johnny still, though, if you're a Browns quarterback that takes that team to the Super Bowl, you have a bigger name than LeBron.
Well, I don't know how we got on this topic.
If LeBron spent his whole career there, yeah, different story. But no.
What else we got coming up here?
We are going to talk about Shedeur Sanders, and I think then we'll maybe take a little pivot. We'll talk a little W, and then we'll finish with some projections for some teams and all that.
So Shedeur sportsbooks, by the way, do have Shedeur specific bets. You can bet on they don't do it for a lot of players. It's kind of the big name guys, but Shedeur's one of the big name guys. So you can bet on, does he throw for 200 yards? Does he have 2 touchdowns? You can find those prop bets tonight.
Now, here's the first question when we look at the Shedeur Sanders situation. Should we be reading into the fact that he is getting the start tonight as the 4-string quarterback? Like, you would think that Dylan Gabriel higher on the depth chart, unless Dylan Gabriel is not healthy, which I believe he is healthy, but Dylan Gabriel should be your starting quarterback tonight.
I want to make sure.
They were all hurt at one point. They were all hurt at one point, so I'm not exactly sure, but hamstring.
Shedeur is starting. Pickett and Gabriel won't play. Okay, so they're out.
So Shedeur is going to play the majority of this game tonight.
He's probably playing pretty much the whole game. Maybe Tyler Huntley gets like the fourth quarter.
I wonder if Dylan Gabriel was healthy, if Shedeur would have got the start. Probably not.
Probably not.
This is a big moment for Shedeur tonight. You're playing the whole game. This is a big moment for him. He's either going to be an internet meme tomorrow, or people are going to be talking about trading Dylan Gabriel.
No, this is definitely a huge moment for him because Joe Flacco's probably going to be the week 1 starter, but like the Browns have 5 quarterbacks, 6 if you count Deshaun Watson. They can't keep everybody. I saw someone report it's more likely than not they keep 4 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, which is crazy because teams are keeping 2 sometimes now. Browns are going to have 4 of them. But this does determine a lot. If Flacco or whoever starts, if they go down or if they're not performing well, Shedeur has a great chance to be the next guy, like the first replacement. But he has to play well in the preseason.
I'm in love with some of these player props on FanDuel for Shedeur. I am in love.
What you got?
Let's go through them. I mean, Shedeur Sanders first pass to be a completion -175. Never playing that. Shedeur first pass to be a touchdown, 100-1. Not going to do that. Shedeur to throw a touchdown on his first offensive drive, a little tempting, +650. It's not like the Brown. It's not like Cleveland, or it's not like Carolina's a juggernaut on defense. Shedeur to run a touchdown first drive, 50-1. Not going to take that. 1+ passing touchdown, +105. I'll tell you what, if Shedeur Sanders doesn't have a passing touchdown tonight, they're going to be calling for Shedeur Sanders' job tomorrow. So I
would be surprised if he didn't get a touchdown.
I would be extremely surprised if he didn't have one passing touchdown, knowing that Flacco's not going to play, Pickett's not going to play, Gabriel's not going to play. So who's what? Tyler Huntley.
Yes.
And he just got there like a week. Yep. So he don't know the system. He barely going to play. Shedeur's got the whole game tonight. If he doesn't throw a touchdown, man.
So Shedeur in his biggest games in college, just run through some of these here. So TCU, the year after TCU was in the national championship game, it was the first game of the next season. He goes for 510 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's his first game at Colorado. Against Oregon, that's when they got killed. He had 159 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Against Caleb Williams and USC was 8th in the country, 371, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then we go to the next year, which was last season. No real huge games. One in the middle of the season against Kansas State. He has 388 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then the bowl game against BYU where they got smoked. 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Now, what do you like better here? Shedeur Sanders, 150 passing yards, +160, or Shedeur Sanders, 1 passing touchdown, +105?
Touchdown for sure.
I still think he's going to throw for 150 playing the whole game.
If we're giving him 3 quarters to get to 150, that would be about 200 yards. That's the math of it if he played 4 quarters. So you're assuming that he plays all 3. And he's not going to have the greatest weapons. Now, Carolina's not going to have the best defense either, but like how much do they actually trust him just to throw the ball? Because throughout this entire camp process, nobody wants to sound like they like him. That's that Stefanski's kept him at arm's reach. He's been working with the 4th stringers, the GM, the owner fighting about whose decision it was to draft him. Nobody seemed to like embrace him.
Sanders is expected to play a lot. So you've got to imagine he's going 3 quarters. If he doesn't get a touchdown tonight, I'd be so surprised. I think I'm unloading on that.
I definitely like the touchdown better than the yards because he could get a touchdown in a quarter. He's not going to get 150 yards in a quarter.
Unless the Browns offense just stalls out the whole time and he looks terrible. That's a very likely possibility too.
Well, then he's not getting the yards anyway.
No, I know, but I still think there's a little risk involved with this. But man, if he don't throw a touchdown tonight, Dillon Gabriel he'd be kicking his feet up, being like, I made this team no problem.
Dillon Gabriel might already have his feet up. I don't know if they can touch the ground from where he's sitting at.
Funny short guy joke. Dillon Gabriel, he was so high during his Rose Bowl press conference, and I knew in that moment that Ohio State was going to destroy. I knew my Oregon ticket was done when he was talking about the grass at the Rose Bowl and how games should be played on grass. I'm not a Dillon Gabriel guy anymore after that. That was rough.
There was a quarterback at Virginia Tech. Matter of fact, let me pull up his ESPN page because I want to follow his career trajectory. He plays for the Rams now. He's got to be a practice squad guy. Okay, so he was a quarterback. He did 2 years at Oregon. He had 87 career pass attempts. Transferred to Virginia Tech. He then transferred to San Diego State as a quarterback and then became a slot receiver halfway through the year. When he was at Virginia Tech, I mean, we haven't been good for a while, and he was there. Like, when he was there, we were really bad, and he couldn't throw the ball, and we couldn't catch, and we couldn't run, and we couldn't block. So it felt like he was just running every single play. and he was getting mauled. His name was Braxton Burmeister, if I haven't said that yet. Braxton Burmeister. He was getting smoked. And we were playing, it might have been playing UVA, who's our rival. And he got killed and came out of the game. And the cameras on the sideline show one of the coaches with a little orange RX bottle, pouring some out, handing them to him. He takes like a handful and just puts them down. And so we started calling him, instead of Braxton Burmeister, we started calling him Braxton Perkmeister. And he's now a legend in Virginia Tech football lore.
That's awesome. The smelling salts too. Speaking of performance enhancers, Baker was on with Kay Adams, and he was like, "It makes no sense that I got to bring them myself now. Like the league just did it to check a box." But yeah, I mean, I think smelling salts are just to wake you up after getting concussed, and that's what Baker was basically saying. And he was like, they had to check a box. So the smelling salts are back though.
Well, so the NFL can't provide them, but the players can still use them?
Yeah, so the players have to bring them themselves. But like, what are you gonna do? Leave them on the sidelines? Like, what is this?
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a little station where they smack their helmets down. Do they have like?
I feel like the trainers have to admit it. What's Baker gonna do? Stick him in his like little pouch?
But yeah, that would be funny. You know how in the NBA players have like cases for their mouth guards and they'll take them out when they get subbed out of games? Maybe you got a little situation like that. Like the trainer walks around with bags and they're just labeled, this is this person's stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. Like team personnel needs to bring it to the sidelines and have it there, unless they're going to stick it in their locker and then go in to get it. But for the most part, I feel like team personnel still needs to be the ones like giving it to them, or at least organize it. I mean, half these quarterbacks don't even bring their helmets out on the field. The trainers do it for them.
Is there any difference between ammonia and smelling salts?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because I've smelled ammonia before at the gym. I had a buddy who used to, like, he was deadlifted like 800 pounds, squatted 700, like he was jacked. And yeah, I sniffed his ammonia a couple of times, and that stuff is like, that gets you locked in.
What's it smell like?
I don't even know how to tell you what it smells like, because you don't actually smell anything.
Just like
it's like you just got punched in the face, basically.
No way.
It's a little like lime-ish, I guess would be one way to put it. But so you've never used smelling salts or anything like that?
No, I've never used them.
Yeah, I've only done it twice, and you don't need to bring them close. Like they can come in different forms. Like sometimes they come in almost what looks like a glow stick, and you like crack it. Sometimes they come in a little bottle. Like if you imagine the top of a spice can, how they're like little holes the spices come out of when you're cooking food. That's the most standard one. And you hold it like this far from your nose, and you just bring it back and forth a couple of times, and you will feel it.
Interesting. Well, Baker's a big smelling salts guy, so he was not happy about it. All right, Grant. So at the end of the night, do we say that Shedeur Sanders is legit the future of the Browns? Do we say that somewhere in the middle didn't show enough, or do we say he's a total bust? Because those are three strong possibilities for tonight.
I'm gonna say, so my reaction, are we talking about my personal reaction or the media reaction?
What do you think? Well, I mean, your personal reaction, the media is going to overhype things, but if he doesn't play well, he's a bust. If he plays okay, it's going to be like, I think everybody has the same reaction. If he throws for 2 touchdowns and 170 yards and completes 65% of his passes, people are going to be saying he's the next quarterback for the Browns. So I think no matter, his play is going to dictate the media, and I think everyone's going to have the same kind of personality. Now, if he goes like, 10 of 17, he throws for 72 yards, nothing's deep and no touchdowns, yeah, then there's a little more wiggle room there.
I'm going to predict that I'll walk away from this game feeling vindicated in believing that Shedeur is the best long-term option for the team among players on their roster. Now, that doesn't mean that if they can draft, we got to talk about Arch, by the way, who Archie said that he's not coming out next year. He's going to do a second year at Texas. So if the Browns have the first pick in the draft or the second pick, whatever, and they can pick Aller or Sellers or Klubnik, like whoever it is, I'm not saying Shedeur will be a better long-term option than those guys. And maybe they can trade Shedeur at the end of the year if he has any value. But I think after seeing tonight's game, he will prove he's ahead of Kenny Pickett. He's ahead of Dylan Gabriel, and let Joe Flacco play a month, 2 months, and then hand the reins to him.
And there's a chance that it's like a stock. Like they got Shedeur in the 5th round. If Shedeur plays well in the preseason, plays well in the regular season a little bit when he gets his name called and the Browns have one of the top picks in the draft and they want to go a different direction to quarterback, they might be able to deal him for a 3rd round pick. So they might get some value there. I think we're going to say that Shedeur, I believe in Shedeur. I think Shedeur is a big game player. As long as they block for him tonight, which is always different. And if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I might heat him up a little bit. But I think we're going to say Shedeur is a pretty good quarterback at the end of the night.
That's when Shedeur got in trouble in college. That's what I would do if I was the Panthers. Don't call anything exotic, like save your playbook, but whatever standard blitz you have, dial it up.
Yeah, bring 5. Rush four with a rusher. But I will say this: in what world should the Carolina Panthers be favored by 6.5 points over anybody?
They're favored by 6.5.
Well, because you're getting Bryce Young tonight for a series or 2. But like worst case is if you give Bryce Young 2 series, I think worst case they're up 7-0. I don't think 10-0 is probably worst case. 7-0's normal, and 3-0 would be a win.
And then the Panthers, once he comes out, I mean, Andy Dalton, okay, Jack, I don't know if Dalton, how much he'll play.
Dalton's barely going to play tonight. Why would you?
Yeah, Jack Plummer, Trevor Etienne. Like, I mean, I guess they have some nice skill position guys as backups, but they don't have defensive depth. Their offensive line doesn't have depth.
You're not going to play Trevor Etienne that much tonight. Like the running backs.
It's going to be Raheem Blackshear and probably Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, like you drafted Etienne in the 4th round with the intention of playing him this season. I don't think you're going to play him that much tonight, maybe a few carries. Rico Dowdle, like I think Etienne will be the backup to Chuba Hubbard. Rico Dowdle, Raheem Blackshear will get the majority of the carries. Jimmy Horn Jr., that's a good guy to get some time tonight. 6th round pick. I think he can be pretty deadly. Hunter Renfrow is questionable, so it doesn't look like he would play tonight. We'll see. But I think 6.5 points is just way too many. You know what I kind of like doing? Alternate spreads in the preseason. Little preseason teasers. Because like, how many
are you bringing this? You bringing this down to Panthers money line or Browns 12.5?
I would probably go Brown. I take the Browns up. So if I'm going to tease these games, we got how many tonight? We got
3. Yeah, Lions, Falcons, Browns, Panthers, and Commies, Patriots.
So Commies Patriots is the interesting one because Patriots are 6.5 point favorites. So I'm assuming their starters are playing. So I would
May's probably going to get at least a couple of series.
May gets a couple of series. So I would take them up. I would take the Falcons up or down, I guess, and I would take the Commanders up. So you could tease them. They don't have it here, but they do have alternate spreads. It doesn't come up in the bet slip. I'd probably go 6-point teaser. I would go Falcons plus 9.5, Browns plus 12.5, Commanders plus 12.5. And then what have the scores been in the preseason? We haven't got a blowout besides the first game.
It was 26 or 24-16, 34-27, and then 23-23 tie.
Yeah, Lions is going to be one that's interesting tonight because I know it was their backups, and I imagine most of their backups are still playing tonight, but they did not play well. They didn't take care of the football. They didn't play Lions football, as Dan Campbell said. So probably expect a little bit of a bounce back out of them.
I would say the same. Yeah, especially because they have reps now. Like, even though they got smoked, they did get reps. The Falcons don't have reps.
Yeah, definitely. Grant, let's take a quick pivot. We'll talk about we'll go Archie. Let's go Archie. And then we'll talk a little W.
I mean, we predicted this. We knew this was happening.
Why anybody that thinks now, here's the only situation he comes out. I think there's 2 situations. Number 1, the New Orleans Saints have the first pick in the draft, and they say we are going to take Archie and they're going to deal Mr. Tyler. If that's the case, I think Arch would come out because you want to play for the New Orleans Saints. And that's a good spot to be in. That's a franchise that can come back up, and you're going to fall in your grandfather's footsteps. If he wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, first team All-American, does everything he can do at Texas, and that includes winning the national title. Like, I want to if he loses in the Peach Bowl, which is the semifinal game, or the Orange Bowl, whatever it is, Rose Bowl, if he loses in the semifinal and Texas does not go to the national championship, I do believe he comes back. The only way he doesn't come back is with a Heisman and a national title. And the national title means more than the Heisman, in my opinion.
No, 100%. I agree with that, especially just Texas. It's always been like Texas back, Texas back. Now they're actually back. So I'm 100% with you there. Looking at some of these other teams who could be in contention for the first pick in the draft, if it's not the Saints, because we agree the connection to Archie, like that makes it likely. If it's not the Saints, the Giants just drafted Jackson Dart, so they wouldn't take him. The Titans just drafted Cam Ward, so they wouldn't take him. The Browns, the Jets, the Panthers, they still wouldn't take him. The Colts might be in that mix. And are any of those teams good situations to walk into, knowing you can stay at Texas? If your options are Texas or Browns, Jets, Colts, Panthers, I guess we'll just put them in there. No, you're staying at Texas.
Well, the Manning family is going to dictate where he goes to a little bit.
A lot of it, I would say. Let's not forget they did it with Eli. Eli was supposed to be a Charger.
The Manning family is going to dictate where he goes. And like here's another thing too. Arch is the kind of guy that you could draft for a year. He could go in, he could take a year fully off from football and be the first pick in the draft the next year. Like pull the Shamar Stewart, but on the opposite side. Like team gets him. You can re-enter the draft in a year, can't you?
You can. Yeah, you have to sit out a year.
So what? Kid's young. Like that's what we're dealing with here with them. But I think he's going to view the landscape of things. If there's a team that is drafting first, is willing to take him, and is a good fit long term, maybe he comes out. But I can't see him coming out to go to the Cleveland Browns if he doesn't win a national title. Why would he? He's still making,
especially with Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel there.
But and that's the thing too. Money is not even a consideration for Arch Manning. Like there's no, like he doesn't have to worry about the money situation. He's making all the money, the NIL money. So why would you come out early? Why would you? He's also a Manning. There's no reason to rush out. Like this decision is going to be focused on where is the best team that I can go to win long term. It's not, hey, I need to get paid right now. I need to come out and make my money so I can take care of my family. Like that's just not where we're at right now.
The only problem that every prospect runs into, like let's say Arch actually does want to come out in 26, but the Browns have the first pick in the draft. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Texas. There's no guarantee the Browns don't have the first pick in 27 or some other terrible team. You don't know what you're getting into. Like, have you ever
play another year?
Well, have you ever played a game of Madden, like with your buddy, and it's like, okay, you get two randoms and you can pick from it, or you have to pick the team you get with your third random pick. That's kind of what it is.
What happens if, like, let me just throw this scenario at you. What happens if Arch stays 3 years at Texas? What happens if he does the max?
Can he do that?
Yeah, he's got 3 years of eligibility left because he's been there 2 and he hasn't played at all.
Then, so he would be coming out in 28 at 24 years old or so?
How old is he now? He'd do 5 years in college. That's a normal amount. Arch Manning, he's 21 right now, so he is old for his.
So yeah, he'd be coming out in 28 at 24 years old.
Yeah. Well, 21 now. His birthday's in April, so he's going into his age 21 season, his age 22 season. He would get drafted because the draft's in April, right?
Yeah.
So he would get drafted at 22, turning 23. So his first NFL season would be 23. His first NFL season, if he stayed next year, would be 24. I don't know. I don't think that's likely, but what happens if Arch is like zoned in on just taking Texas to the promised land and like he likes the sorority girls there?
I'm not going to rule it out. Not with the Mannings. I feel like they'd be the family to do it. Everybody was worried about what Dion would do with Shedeur. This is the family that would actually do it.
Yeah, but they present it differently. But like, as much as I love Mr. Deion Sanders, like he has no pull relative to Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. Like it's different. We're apples and oranges there.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm rooting for Texas. I think when Texas is good, college football is so fun because their fans are delusional.
There are a lot of schools like that. I think when Texas is up there, Notre Dame is up there. You're not going to like this. I'll put Virginia Tech in there. Alabama.
The ACC isn't even
Oklahoma. I'd put in there.
The ACC isn't even a major conference anymore, Grant. I don't
No,
even know.
not anymore.
It's not. It's the Big Ten and the SEC.
Without Clemson, there'd be no point in the conference.
There'd be no the ACC has turned into like what the Big East used to be back when it was like UConn, West Virginia, BC, those schools. But Texas,
we're getting two conferences. We're getting the Big Ten and the SEC, and it's just everybody's there.
And that's a problem, but it's also that's what it is. So, anyways, Grant, that's probably wraps up our football talk for the day, unless you have anything else.
No, let's I know you've been waiting for this. Let's close it out. Let's go to the W.
We got some big news in the W. A fourth toy, we'll call it a toy, has hit the floor last night. It was purple.
The WNBA, as Tanner was saying, a fourth sex toy has hit the floor. People have now made a habit of throwing these items out onto the court. I saw Polymarket posted the other day that there is actually more betting volume on the color of toy that will be thrown onto the court than there is on which team is going to win a given game. And look, by any means necessary, all marketing is good marketing, but it's crazy that the WNBA finds itself in this position.
Yeah. So how do you stop this though? Like that's why I like talking about it. You know, how do we even stop it? Like you can't. I don't think if people are willing to go in there and get arrested, you're never going to be able to stop this. It's going to just continue. And I think honestly, like the news of the fourth one hitting the floor last night really didn't hit as hard as like the third one. The third one was like what really made the noise. So I think maybe it'll just fade off on Twitter because it's getting old. But you can't stop it.
No, you definitely can't stop. The security checks, I guess that's the only thing. You just do a better job searching bags and whatnot.
But they even banned bags, I thought, from the one game.
Oh, you're right. They did. I don't know.
Like, you can just stick it in your pants. Like, can't really do anything.
Yeah. If they say, hey, what's that? You just be like, well, it's my,
Like they can't grope you there.
No,
they can't grope you. I mean, they can pat you down, I guess.
What are you hiding there, sir?
We need TSA agents in the damn games. But yeah, it's crazy that this is what the WNBA has come to. So there was the one person who originally got caught with the green toys. They were starting like a meme coin. So they wanted to like promote the meme coin, and they are also sick of the WNBA being forced down their face. That's what they said. But then last night, I guess there was a big thread that Front Office Sports did, and they were talking about how two guys got taken into custody and questioned, and they were like taking selfies with the cops, and like they did not care at all. So if you got people who are just willing to go in there and not get arrested, and comedians too, like remember the old stuff where like people would be falling asleep on the court side? See, I think Drewski might have did that. I don't know. Yeah. Like you went and fell asleep on the courtside seats. WNBA is in trouble because for damn sure when it comes down to playoff time on ESPN on national television, there's going to be a lot of toys thrown.
Yeah, there are. I mean, they're handling it well. The players are handling it well. I saw one girl. There was a video that went around. Some girl got crossed up, like she fell down and everything. And someone was like, "Oh my gosh, whoever so and so just snatched her ankles." And the girl who got crossed responded to it, and she said, "My bad, y'all. I got hit by a dildo." Like they're taking it well, but it's just
weird
situation.
Some are like I think like the way Sophie Cunningham's handling it, like top tier. Like she tweeted like this didn't age well because she got hit. Kelsey Plum coming over and like super kicking the football.
She kicked the crap out of that thing.
She super kicked it like that. You're going to become a meme. So like you can't get angry about it. You got to play into the joke of it, I think, which a lot of them have at least. So
it's just weird.
It's just crazy what it's come to.
I mean, imagine the equivalent of that, and you do that at an NBA game. Like you throw one of those out onto the court.
I'm surprised it's never been done in an NBA game. Like I'm surprised you don't get things thrown. Maybe there's a lot better security, I imagine. And like I actually watched a video the other day on NFL security and like how they have these cameras looking at you. Like you throw a beer or something, it like can zone in. They can find your exact seat off the cameras. Like they probably need those at the WNBA games.
If this is going to continue, then they need everything they can get.
So we'll see. But yeah, those ride the line for today. Clean 50. basically right on the dot.
Was ride the line, really riding with the toy talk.
Good way to finish. Good way, a little lighthearted joke to take us to the weekend. But I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I'm rooting for the Buccaneers this weekend. Drake May a little bit tonight. Hopefully he has a good game, Grant. And I hope your Commanders clean it up after.
Hey, we have Sam Hartman tonight. That's your guy. You like Sam Hartman?
I do like Sam Hartman. When is Quinn Ewers playing?
He's playing for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are they're not tonight. I think they might be one of the Sunday games.
I will be betting on Quinn Ewers. Bears versus Dolphins. Yes. Give me everything with Quinn Ewers. So they have
Tyson Bagent against Quinn Ewers.
Bagent will deal a little bit. I'm a little afraid of him.
Bagent's actually not bad.
He's not bad. Like these guys that if you know who the backups are, like if you know their names and they don't have negative connotations around them, they're going to be career backups, and they did a great job. Miami +3 at Chicago on Sunday. I like it.
Okay, well, for more picks like that, go to WSN.com. Not just picks, but also future odds, player odds, futures bets as well, promo codes for the sports books, all that great stuff. It is there at WSN.com. Make sure you check it out.
That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We will see you on Tuesday for another episode.